Hi everyone, I know that it's been a considerable bit of time since I last made a video, but I recently decided that I wanted to start trying to collect old video games, and I figured that I would try to document my process as I continue moving forward with it. Today I had a pretty interesting find through Facebook Marketplace where I was able to get a fairly large collection of games for 70 bucks. So I wanted to go through the grouping of them today and basically decide which ones I wanted to keep and which ones I wanted to get rid of. So one of the main things that attracted me was Bully, which is a Rockstar game that was made for the original PlayStation 2 era. And this one's complete. It's a black label as opposed to a greatest hits, which is why I wanted to hold on to this, because I have just a disc version of this game, so I'll be putting this in my personal collection. Another game that was in the lot was 007 Nightfire, which is a James Bond game from that era. It's not complete, it doesn't have the manual. I'm not nearly as interested in this as I would be in something like GoldenEye for the N64, but it is something nonetheless. Another thing that really interested me in this lot was a fairly large amount of Guitar Hero and a Rock Band game. I really did enjoy the Guitar Hero series. The only issue specifically is that Guitar Hero 2 is greatest hits, but that's perfectly fine because I believe I have a copy of that. So the original Guitar Hero, excellent titles, complete in box, which is nice. So I'm gonna hold on to that, probably add that to my collection. Guitar Hero 2, it's the greatest hits version, but it does come with a manual, so I thought that one would be interesting. Guitar Hero 3, Legends of Rock. This is where the series started to go a little bit too much in terms of there became a yearly release following that cycle, because post Guitar Hero 2, I believe Rock Band joined the mix, and it started to become a much more yearly cycle in terms of games being released. I.e., as you continue, you get to individual games like Guitar Hero Aerosmith. Individual bands started having their own games, and because of that, it started to get considerably more filled out in terms of video games. For example, you had things like Rock Band Beatles, you had the Green Day. Oh, hi Sagan. This is my cat Sagan. She wanted to just come say hi. Feel free to continue looking at the games, but I do have to have at least some area. Thank you. Okay, so beyond that, Rock Band, the Country Track Pack. This one's interesting because in the PS2 era, this was how DLC effectively was handled. So the actual game can be played. It's not like a hot swap out the individual title. You can just play only the games with the songs within this track pack, which is a fascinating way of going about it. It's only about 21 songs, I believe, and this came out in 2009, so that illustrates just what it was. Now, here's where we start getting into the sports titles, which I'm not nearly as interested in. Sports titles are a dime a dozen, especially given how many that they've come out with. Some of them are particularly good, but I'm usually not much of a sports person, so it's very rare that I'd ever want to hold on to a title like that. But Madden NFL 2009, it's an old GameStop EB Games case. Not nearly as interested in it. The fact that this pre-owned went for $18 illustrates some people really like sports titles, but now I'd be lucky to get maybe even $1 for this. So not as interested in this title. Brunswick Pro Bowling, a very old bowling game made by Crave Entertainment, which is actually really interesting. The only bowling game that I'm particularly interested in is Wii Sports Bowling, so that one's probably going to go. Off the Chute, this is professional bull riding, which is a fascinating game just to see on its own regard. Not as interested in this, but it is complete, so that's something at least. NASCAR 08, the limited edition from Walmart, which basically just includes an extra car and a track because it was purchased at Walmart. It's just a sleeve case with a signature on it, and it's complete. It has the limited edition exclusive car and track, which you only get if you put in a first name, last name, which I find that very funny as a way that they locked information on the disc just to make it so that you could have access to it. So apparently when you create an account or a profile within the game, you give it a first name and a last name, and it unlocks a special car and a special track. NCAA Football 2004. This was the EA Sports version, so this isn't Madden 04, but it's the college version. So that's something in itself. Madden 2011, I actually remember this game. My brother-in-law enjoyed playing it. I'm not much of a Madden game person, so that's something specific. This one interested me right off the bat, and this was why I basically wanted to get an aspect of this lot. But unfortunately, it isn't complete. It's in an EB Games case, but it's Simpsons Road Rage. Obviously, this isn't Simpsons Sit and Run, which is a much better game. This version is basically Crazy Taxi, but with Simpsons characters. Unfortunately, it's not in the greatest shape, and it's a greatest hits title, so I took a little bit of a loss on that, but that is perfectly fine. If it plays, that's great. If it doesn't, oh well. Star Wars 3 Revenge of the Sith is a greatest hits. This is Ptolemy, the other black cat. She's interested in seeing what's going on. Hi, Ptolemy. So, a greatest hits for the episode 3 of Star Wars. Revenge of the Sith, the prequel series, perfectly fine. I'm not as familiar with how the games play, but we'll see how it plays, and I'm curious to see if it holds up or not. Transformers, the game, the Michael Bay film, the DreamWorks Hasbro game title. It's perfectly fine, I think. I don't believe I've ever played it. It could be fun. I'm not sure. I'll give it a test. If I like it, I'll hold on to it for my collection. If not, then I will likely sell it. MX vs. ATV Untamed. I did enjoy the MX games, more particularly the open world area. Guys, please don't fight. Go on. Yes, that's a bag. MX vs. ATV Untamed. It's. I don't know if I'll enjoy this one, specifically given how well they age. Not sure. My favorite was a different MX vs. ATV game, so I'll give it a test. It might be fun. I do not know. This was just included, but it's Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie for some reason, and it has a Pyramid of Light trap card. So there's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card in here for some reason, and a advertisement for Shonen Jump. I find that absolutely hilarious that this was just somehow included in the mix of stuff that came with everything. But it's a DVD, and it's from 2004, so it could be fun. A little bit of nostalgia for people that really enjoyed Yu-Gi-Oh! Cabela's Dangerous Hunts. I'm not a hunting game person. This is also a greatest hits version. I'm not a hunting game person. That's specifically someone's interest, but it's not mine. SSX3. I'm familiar with Tricky on the GameCube, but this is another complete game. EA had a varied series of snowboarding games. I don't think I'm interested in this because it falls into the sports category of titles, but it's something nonetheless. George of the Jungle and the Search for the Secret. This is a licensed game for the George of the Jungle animated series, not the movie with Brendan Fraser or the sequel that couldn't apparently afford Brendan Fraser, but I'm fascinated to see what this game plays like because it's Havoc. It's a lot of these are Crave Entertainment games, so that says something in regards to what they were interested in. Just looking at the box art, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that great, but you never know. Sometimes they can be fun. The History Channel Civil War: A Nation Divided. Apparently this is History Channel was maybe trying to get in on the Call of Duty series of showcasing 12 of America's most legendary battles, including Gettysburg, Bull Run. Okay, all right, a History Channel video game for the Civil War. I doubt that I'm going to hold on to this, but it's fascinating nonetheless. Pixar Cars. I actually do have fond memories of this game. It is really fun to play because you can just go around Radiator Springs just racing and driving around, and it is particularly fun in terms of an open world, just simple THQ game. In terms of a licensed game, it's really not that bad, and it's complete. So I actually think I will hold on to this. This one I have a little bit of fond memories and nostalgia for, and it'd be fun to take a glance at that again. Tony Hawk's Underground 2. This one is an interesting game. It's by Neversoft, obviously. They've made fantastic games, and this one's complete, and it's definitely going on my collection. I am not the biggest Tony Hawk fan in terms of skate games. Skate and Skate 2 for the Xbox were probably my favorite of skateboard-related games, but Tony Hawk games are particularly interesting given the sheer level of its history in video games for skateboarding games, and Tony Hawk games are particularly fun. And the soundtracks are always fantastic. NFL Street 2. I am not going to keep this. I'm definitely going to sell this to try to recoup some of my money. Apparently this game is worth about $30, so that covers well over half of the lot for the things that I have. I am not a sports game fan, but given that this is a street game, so like the NBA Street or NFL Street, those games tend to go for a pretty decent amount, anywhere over $10 to $30. This one apparently is $30. It's complete and it's in pretty great shape, so I think I should be able to sell it and make a decent bit back from what I purchased from this overall lot. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Obviously no PS2 collection could be complete without having some copy of Grand Theft Auto. This one has the map. It's a greatest hits version, unfortunately. I have a copy of San Andreas, so I will likely get rid of it or try to improve the sell value of the lot that I'm going to try to get rid of. And then finally, Need for Speed Underground 2. This is definitely going in my collection. I'm not the biggest EA Games fan, but this is a fantastic game with a great soundtrack of licensed songs, and it is very fun to play. So I'm definitely going to hold on to this one. And then finally, just by going through and purchasing this lot, I was able to pick up one final thing, simply for going out and collecting everything. I was able to get a wireless guitar for the PlayStation 2, the Kingmaker. So this is a interesting PS2 controller for obviously all of the Guitar Hero and Rock Band games. I have to get the adapter for it, but I believe that I should be able to find that online, and I'll be able to play some of the old games. Now, in regards to what I think I'm actually going to hold on to, it's really just going to be a small handful of titles. In terms of things that I will likely get rid of in order to improve, I will probably definitely hold on to this. I will probably get rid of these, hold on to this, so this, hold on to this, hold on to this, so this, this. Maybe, not sure. I'll just hold on to this because why not? These will likely be the games that I will be trying to sell in order to recover some of the cost, so that I can hold on to these and have them be added to my collection. In a future video, if I continue to find video games, I will let you know how much I managed to make from these, and I'll keep you posted. Thank you for watching.